the eAssist Dental Solutions podcast. We are the nation's leader in outsourced dental billing. Our clients require highly skilled dental office managers that can consult with client offices.
Welcome to the eAssist Dental Solutions podcast. My name is Andre Quintana, and I am your host for this awesome show that we come to you twice a month, and we are here to talk about the great things that are happening with eAssist. And what do I call that? I call that a day in a life in eAssist. So today we have an incredible guest because the truth is they all are amazing. You have to spend time. If you really, anybody listening to the show, you might want to just one day, if we can arrange it, if you're in the dental industry and you want to talk to someone from eAssist, I'm sure I can make that happen. But I don't want to go on talking too long because we have a show that's very powerful for anybody out there listening, for our own staff, our own team at eAssist, for the great Dr. Anderson and everybody involved in making this company great. So today we have Hillary. And how are you doing today, Hillary?
I'm doing really great. How are you?
Great. Can you introduce yourself and tell everybody about what you do with eAssist?
Well, my name is Hillary Rubino, and I live in North Carolina. I'm currently an account executive and account manager for various offices. So I take care of keeping the aging report up to date, making sure I follow up on all the claims, getting them paid, filing appeals. And I also post payments as well and make sure everything balances for the office. So just a little bit about what I do.
That's great. I'm so happy that I finally got to talk to you because, I'm always working on the list of guests and trying to get everybody who wants to be on the podcast. And when I read your bio, I said, oh, this is going to be, who do I pick first? I don't know how to do it. You're all great. I'm just so happy to be part of this team. But let's talk about eAssist for a moment. eAssist, it's a company that's going to solve all the account receivable problems. And it's going to also cut down on the amount of time that people at the office that work for doctors spend on all the work that nobody really loves to do. And we have specialists at eAssist constantly working on these tasks so that the team inside the offices can just give the patients their best effort and build relationships. Because in sales, which, us in the dental industry, we don't really like to sell anything. We don't call it selling anything, but nothing happens in this world without a sale. If we're going to make a transaction, you have to build relationships, and it's got to be less about all of these other distractions. And I don't know any company that does it better than eAssist. What do you think about that, Hillary?
I think it's absolutely true. I love that we can help the offices focus on their patients. And I think I worked in an office for many years, and I think about how I wish we had eAssist working for us so I didn't have to spend so much time on the phone with insurance companies and following up on stuff, that I could really just sit with the patients and explain their treatment and go over building a relationship with them. And that's the value of eAssist, that it makes it so easy for an office to focus on that because all of the other stresses are taken right off of their plate.
Oh, this is why I like you guys so much, because that's kind of like what I was going to ask you. You just hit it right there. Now I want to really dive into how you found eAssist. Like, how did you just wake up one day and Google it? Was it a Google search for dental billing outsourced? Like, what exactly did you do?
Well, I really wanted to work from home, so I was trying to think, what skills I had. I worked in dentistry for, almost 10 years. And I thought, people do medical billing from home. There has to be someone doing dental billing from home. So my first idea was maybe I could do it myself and present it to my office that I could, work remotely for them. But I wasn't sure about the HIPAA requirements or all the things that it would take. So I ended up Googling it, and I found this on Glassdoor. And I was reading the reviews, and at first I thought, this has to be a scam. I was like, there's no way that this is real. So I was like, if they ask me for any money to apply, I'll know it's a scam.
Right.
So I went on the website and I took the test, and everything was just like moved right along. Like the next day, Devani called me and she wanted to set up an interview, and that was almost a year ago. And I have been so happy working for them ever since.
I love what you just said, because the word scam, it is so interesting, because eAssist is the opposite of a scam. At eAssist, you're dealing with so many individuals that care about each other. There is no way that this could happen where it's too good to be true. I mean, it is too good to be true. It is too good, way too good, but it is that good. And it is totally the opposite. It's totally the opposite of that, because nothing bad can happen when you have so many great people working together for one common goal, and that is to see offices and doctors succeed, because you guys have been there. And something that you said just a minute ago is that there was a pain that you had when you were working in the dental field and in the office, that eAssist could have solved a lot of your problems. And then there's something else that you said that really I want to talk about, and it was that eAssist solved the other problem that you had, which is you wanted to work from home to have more flexibility. And I want to know why and how did this change your life, Hillary?
Well, I have to say, I hated having to live my life around my work schedule. I do a lot of volunteer work every month, and my husband and I really love to travel. My family doesn't live near here, so like scheduling time to see them. I have a little sister who's 7. So it's like making all of those things work. Like to me, family is a priority and my volunteer work is a priority. So finding something that can work around that was like amazing for me. It was so life changing because I was just exhausted all the time, trying to work long hours in the office, being in traffic, and trying to get time off for things was impossible. So I love that this gave me my life back, and I just have so much more energy. I'm excited to log into work in the morning and to get going and know that I can do it at any time of the day, depending on what my schedule is for the week.
I want that job. Don't you? For all the people listening out there, don't you want that job? Well, let me tell you, you must contact eAssist because this company is growing. It's growing. I see all the promotions all the time, the emails. I'm telling you, so much excitement around this company. I feel so blessed being around it, to be honest with you. So now we learned a little bit about you and how you got to eAssist and, how you found it and what it has done for your life. But now you get into the office, you kind of log in and tell everybody out there, what does a day in the life as an eAssister look like for you?
Well, usually when I log in on Monday, for my offices that I do the insurance aging report, I will pull a new report, and what I do is I go right through the list of claims, and I check to see when they were submitted. I'll either log in online to see if I can see the claim status that way, or I will call and get on the phone with a rep, which sometimes is a little more effective, especially if you've had a problem processing a claim. So I do spend quite a bit of time on the phone. And then it goes into, if it's denied, finding out why, writing an appeal letter, and I keep track of all that so I know, like maybe in 2 weeks, if I have to mail it, I can follow up. Did they get it? Are they processing it? And checking to make sure I have the x-rays that I need, the perio charting. Is the clinical notes something I can use to base my appeal on, or do I need to reach out to the office? So that's as far as it goes for the aging report. And then at the end of the day, I have to fill out my daily report of how many claims I've worked, how many I mailed out, what are the insurance aging numbers for each day. And then for the office that I post on, I look to see if the office has scanned in the mail, which they do whenever they have it. They'll scan it in, tally up the check total, and I'll make sure I enter in all the payments with the correct adjustments. And I write a detailed note in each claim. So if the office wants to see, well, why wasn't something covered? Or what is the patient portion of this claim? It's all right there in the note. So they really shouldn't have to even go back through the scans to look at anything. And I just make sure that balances, and I send out any claims and the necessary attachments and narratives. And, it's pretty simple and straightforward. You just have to be, really self-motivated and driven to make sure you're keeping up and getting all the work done for the offices.
That is like the greatest thing I have heard, because the way you just described everything was so good for the audience. I was listening, and what it did is it reminded me about what happened today. Today we closed the office, right? We've been a very busy office lately because we're on the verge of moving into a bigger location. And so we closed today to do some continuing education for the whole team. And in the past, when we have closed the office for any reason, it was always on my mind, Hillary, about when we get back, we're going to be so backed up. Normally, if we close an office, we would have someone staying and getting all these things done, that behind the scenes, claims, whatnot. We were all able to go and do what we needed to do to be a better office. And when I get back on Monday, there will be no worries whatsoever, because I know Lorena, who's over in California working on all our stuff with her team, is going to do a fantastic job of keeping us up to date, current, and keeping all the claims coming in for the doctor. What are your thoughts about that?
I mean, it's just so amazing, because if you really think about how, we all work across different time zones, different schedules. It's literally like there's an eAssister working somewhere in the world 24 hours a day.
Yes.
And it's just nice that we can take that off the doctor's shoulders, and that they know that someone competent is taking care of their accounts, and that they're not going to have to double check every little thing, because that's also stressful. But that they can just trust it's getting done. They see the payments coming in. They see, the aging report, being clean with their over 90 at zero. And I love that we're able to do that to our offices.
That's right. I just want to remind everybody that one of the ways you can go to and learn about eAssist is you go to eAssist.com or dentalbilling.com, and there you're going to find a lot of great information about, everything there, everything that eAssist, plus a great blog where you're going to find stories about team members. It's all going to be there for you to try to make a decision on if you want a company that is going to do it right. I'll tell you, eAssist is I think the best in the nation right now. And the phone number to eAssist is 844-327-7478. But I want to get back to something that we were talking about. There is not enough time in the day for a dental team to do it all. How do you think at the end of the day that you have helped in the past a dental office turn the office around from where they were, maybe not being so efficient with how it is they approach the dental claims? Tell us a story about, you don't have to get specific, you don't have to name the office, but how have you climbed that mountain and made it great for an office?
There's one office that comes to mind that the aging was just, it was a little high for as big of an office as they were. And really, there was only one person working in the office, and I felt so bad for them because they were trying to do way too much. So I went through the aging report, and we got it cleaned up. I was sending out appeals and just really, talking with the reps and being like, this claim has been tried to be followed up on, 3 different times. I'm like, what do I need to do to get it paid? And that happened, with at least 4 or 5 different insurance companies. So it was so nice. Like after, I think the first month, I think we halved the aging, and we got an email from the office manager, and she was like, thank you so much. She's like, you guys are amazing. I don't even know how I would have followed up on all these just myself. So that was like, I felt so happy that we were able to, take some stress off of her and get these claims, some of them, a year and a half old. And the payments were coming in, and it makes me happy for the patients, because the patients would sometimes call and be like, why do I have a balance? What is going on with this claim? And we were having the appeals approved. So the patients were happy, so then that they didn't have an out-of-pocket expense, because, really we want to maximize the insurance benefits that the patients are entitled to, but we just don't always have time to do that if we're in an office working. So to let the eAssist team take care of that and be concentrated on, really upping the collections of the office and making their patients happy is just a wonderful feeling. So I was so happy. And now their aging is even better. It's like hardly anything is outstanding anymore. And they're starting to see, what we need in the clinical notes so that we can write effective narratives. The x-rays are there. The perio charting's updated. So when we have all those tools readily available, it really makes our job a lot easier as well.
I said it earlier. You're on fire tonight, Hillary. You're just on fire, because I said it earlier too, where when an office manager takes off, for example, I notice that when my lead person is not in the office, things just don't flow well. Let's this is nothing against what anybody else does. This is just your right hand, who's got control of many, many things in there. The difference between now and then is that everybody is there for one common reason, and that is just to make people happy about coming to the dentist. And nobody has to worry about the flow, because some of the things that used to throw the flow off was this work that was normally needed to be done after the day is done. But what does that look like for an office manager, for example, that has to end the day and stay way later than her office time and her schedule is supposed to end, to catch up on things that, are very important to the practice, to keep it moving? So it's this domino effect that happens. And then at the end of the day, nobody's happy, because everybody's just coming and working from behind. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. It's like I've been in that place where you're just exhausted from the toll of the day, and then to even think about having to go through things with an insurance company, it's like the last thing you want to do.
Oh, I've been there. I've been there where I've done a lot of things in the dental office. We talked a little bit about before the show how busy I am, but the thing is, I used to leave some of those things like posting to accounts for the end of the day, and when I used to stare at a Monday's worth of mail, and I have 40 to 50 entries to put in to make sure that the patient accounts are detailed and that the notes are there for the team. Because the other thing, this is an amazing interview. You're touching on so many things that you actually reminded me to talk about. The notes that you have to leave behind for other people to see the next day when somebody's posting is so important, because when the patient calls, you have to be able to understand why there's a balance or why there's a credit. Is that something that you're familiar with?
Yeah, it's really, the notes to me are so essential, because I want to make sure I'm leaving notes for someone that if they didn't know anything about what was going on, they could open it up and understand clearly what the insurance approved, what they covered, the adjustment that needs to be done. And there's even a section you can write a note, like a lot of times, if you do a pan and full mouth series, they'll combine them for payment. So I'll just write that on the note of why this is why only so much of the x-rays, because that's what I would want if I was coming into an office and looking at the note. I want to have everything right there. I don't want to have to, be calling someone to be like, well, why did you write this?
Right. Oh, that's so great. Now, at this time, we're getting close to the end of the interview. I want to ask you one question that's coming all the way from left field. Okay. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. So if there was an office out there that was on the fence about, do I do this? Do I not? Do I do this? Do I not? Right? What would you tell them to help them make a decision to come on board?
That really there's no risk in even just trying eAssist for 30 days, and you'll be amazed at the effectiveness it will have for your accounts. And once you try it for 30 days, you're not going to ever want to stop. Once you see how much more time your office staff has to spend with patients, the headaches that go away because the claims are being sent correctly, the postings being done, the appeals are being done, a lot of those things that are left to the back burner, your office will be so excited to not to have to worry about. So, I absolutely recommend to try it out. and you're going to be amazed at the results.
I can't believe it. The way you word everything is so great. Start today. It's absolutely no risk. Like Hillary said, you can cancel at any time, but I'll tell you what, I am a fan for life. All of your accounts, I'm sure, are very happy because you have explained everything so well, Hillary. I have really, really enjoyed this interview so much, and I can't wait to meet you at Summit in Orlando.
Yeah, I'm so excited to meet all these people that we work with on a daily basis in person. It's like in an office, you have one or two people that maybe you click with, you can bounce ideas off, and it's like we have a whole country full of people. I love working with such a dedicated, intelligent, fantastic.
Yes. So if you want your patient ledgers to be accurate, if you want them to be constantly maintained, and if you want to collect more, call eAssist. We're always here for you. And like Hillary said, all over the country at almost seems like 24 hours a day, there's an eAssist team member working for a dental team. Thank you so much, Hillary. I want to wish you a great week, and I promise I'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a great week, too.
Bye-bye.
We hope that you have enjoyed this episode of the eAssist Dental Solutions podcast. We love to put the spotlight on the individuals for their outstanding work for our clients.